I know that there is a lot of how-to SZA type beat tutorials out there on YouTube, but I wanted to do my own take on that and kinda share some of the production techniques that I didn't necessarily see other YouTube channels talk about, okay? I wanna show you which types of chords and also drum patterns SZA likes to hear in her beats, and also what kind of VST plugins you probably wanna be using in order to achieve that mellow, ambient, R&B sound that SZA usually has on her beats. Here is how the beat that we're gonna be breaking down sounds like. And obviously there is lots of different R&B beats, but today I want to focus on that piano and pad driven R&B vibe that is kind of built off those lush jazzy chords. SZA is very often using those 7th and 9th chords, which are also very popular and very often used in jazz music, and in between those lush and jazzy chords you will almost always hear a diminished or suspended chord, and that is what gives SZA's beats that typical R&B feel. And I'm not entirely horrible on the keyboard, but I'm also not a trained musician, so I've used Scalar 2 VST to come up with the chord progression for this beat, which is a really good and efficient way to come up with a beautiful and natural sounding chord progressions. So I chose R&B 10 preset in Scalar 2, and also I turned on the humanize and strumming feature to add some organic feel to my chords as if they were played live, and I came up with this chord progression. So once I had the chord progression that I like, I've recorded the MIDI notes from Scalar 2 into a new MIDI track in Ableton Live. This way I can drag and drop my MIDI around to use this chord progression with the different sounds and VSTs. And obviously very important part of the production is to find the right sounds in order for us to build this R&B feel for our beat. So I started with this piano sound from Omnisphere. The piano that I'm using for the main sound in this beat actually comes from Arturia keyboard collection. It's called Arturia Piano 5 version 3. I'm sorry about that. And I've also added a tape emulation plugin to make it sound washed and vintage. And of course I had to have some pad sounds on the back of our main piano sound in order to really build this ambient R&B feel for our beat. And also I wanted to add an ear candy sound, something that stands out to the listener, so I've used this bell sound from Omnisphere. And also all the sounds that I told you about are using the same exact chord progression that I've mentioned earlier in the video, okay? And I wanted to create the impression that the beat is constantly evolving to keep the listener interested, so later on in the beat I've added this ARP sound, and you guessed it, it's also from Omnisphere. To create an arpeggiated sound like this, all you have to do is find the preset that you like, turn on the arpeggiator, and choose the arpeggiator preset that you like the most. And that's all we have for the melodic parts, I would say. Next one up is the bass line. And for this specific beat I really wanted to use a real bass guitar VST, so I went with Rickenbacker bass from Contact 7, and here is the processing chain for the bass. And if I want to be honest with you, I have to tell you though that the bass melody that I wrote for this beat is ass.
This right here? Fucking ass, bro.
If I would actually send this beat to SZA, I would more than likely ask a real bass player on Fiverr or some of my friends to actually record the bass line for this beat, because it would just sound so much better. But for the sake of this tutorial, I kept it the way it is, okay? So the last thing we have to cover for this beat is the drums. My main focus was to use organic sounding acoustic style drums, simply because this style of drums is fairly common in SZA's beats. Just to mention a few things about the drums, we have this hi-hat loop, sounds like this. It's followed by kick and snare. I'm also adding an offbeat rim shot for some more bounce. And then we have a couple hi-hats, and altogether it would sound like this. Also, I've added a couple effect sounds to the beat just to let the listener know that we are transitioning into the new section of the beat. And that's pretty much it for the beat, to be honest. I hope you guys learned something new today, or you just had fun watching. Feel free to leave a comment if I didn't cover something and you have any questions. I'll answer all of them, I pretty much always do. And also, I just posted a bunch of new beats on my website, so feel free to check those out if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching, thank you for coming through. My name is Almost Famous. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.